This is Mehera-Meher, chapter 141, A Lesson from Peter is the title. And this is page 343. Meher Baba returned to Meherazad on 1 July 1965 with an additional companion. Considering Goher's medically overburdened predicament, Dr. Alu Kambata of Bombay was permitted to stay at Meherazad for 6 months to assist her. Baba continued to eat lunch with the women in the dining room at Meherazad. For dinner, however, he ate in his room. The women ate afterwards outside in the moonlight in the open area near the dining room. During dinner, Alu sometimes narrated a folk story her father had told her. Mehera mentioned to Baba how entertaining she found the tales. So at lunch one day, Baba asked Alu to repeat one. Alu felt flustered when she was in Baba's presence, so she was apprehensive and told the story hastily. I was sometimes alone with Baba in the dining room, she explained, when the others were busy. I felt nervous and wanted to go to the kitchen with Naja. Baba asked me where I was going and told me to sit down and stay with him. Baba gave Alu certain orders to follow while she lived at Meherazad. At the dining table, for example, none started eating until Mehera had served herself. Sometimes, Alu recounted, the food was placed on the table and Mehera would be talking. She would go here and there. Even though she told us to start eating, and though Baba was present, we were to wait until Mehera returned and began her meal before we could start. Being a newcomer, sometimes Alu committed a faux pas. For instance, once Alu was relating a story of her visit to a certain saint. Unwittingly, she said, and he was so handsome, just like Baba. Mani pinched her. Don't say that, Mani scolded in a hushed voice. For Mehera, Baba is beyond comparison. Don't ever compare anyone to Baba. Another day, Alu whispered in Baba's ear, Baba, I am fed up with the world. I don't want to return to Bombay. I just want to stay with you. She put her arms around him and clung to him. Goher was furious. Don't you know Baba's neck is hurting him? Alu was learning to think of Baba first before anything else. And the sidebar says, later in the fall of 1967, Baba kept Alu at Meherazad again, this time for a year. While they had been in Pune, Mehera too had had a pain in her neck, and Baba told her to lie down and it would go away. Later he told her to rest in the afternoon every day. At Meherazad, Baba told her to continue taking a nap every afternoon, which Mehera did for the rest of her life. There's a side note. In the earlier years, no one had been allowed to rest in the afternoon. Later, when the women were older, a nap was permissible. Nadja, for example, took a nap in the afternoon also. While they had been in Pune, I read that already. Every day after lunch, Baba gestured. Rest well. Not just once, but every day, he said this to me, so sweetly. Hmm. Almost immediately, upon returning from Pune in July, there was a crisis. Mani's pet, Peter, was dying of cancer. Peter was great fun and a real companion, Mani observed, a part of the family. In Satara, Peter was always the first one to be out with Baba, whenever Baba went to the men's side. At Meherazad also, Peter would romp with Baba every day. He was led out for a walk whenever Baba went from the women's side to the Mandalays. Peter had the habit of snoring, just like a human being. It was quite disconcerting at times. When we were in Baba's room and I was reading out Tolkien, a wood house, or whatever, I suddenly heard snoring. Naja? No. Who would dare sleep and snore with Baba right before us? Suddenly I realized that the snoring was coming right from under my chair. While I was reading, Peter was snoring. Peter would lie before Baba at his feet in Mondley Hall. If Erich had to give something to Baba, he had to lean over the dog. Mani's office was nearby, in the storeroom near the main house, from where she could see the back doors of Mondley Hall. Here she wrote the family letters. One morning, the little bell rang for Mani. Mani stopped typing and rushed over to the hall. With a twinkle in his eye, all that Baba said was, "Just look at that." And he pointed to Peter, prone, snoring, fast asleep at his feet. Mani asked, "Baba, shall I take him away?" Baba chuckled. "Let the rascal be." I went away and continued my typing. 2 days later, again, when the bell rang for me, it was the same scene. Baba in the chair, and there was Peter sprawled before him. He wasn't snoring, he was dreaming. Whenever he was excited, chasing something, he made a lot of squeaking noises. He was lying flat, his paws moving so fast, with a frown of concentration on his face. "Look at him, just look at him," Baba said. Then Baba said something which I thought over only afterwards. "Look at Peter, he's dreaming. He thinks he's being chased by wolves, or he's running, chasing birds or rabbits, going over the mountains, across rivers, through deserts. All this, and yet he's safe and sound at my feet. He's not doing any of these things. While he thinks he's doing all that, he's safe and sound at my feet." In the most casual way has Baba given out his real sermons. As far as we, the women, were concerned, we did not get discourses from Baba. We did not even read them. For us, it was quite enough, more than enough, to have Baba himself. But in the most casual way, in the most natural remarks, has Baba given out what I really call his sermons. When I look back, I feel this was one of Baba's simple sermons, when Baba would make you aware through a very simple illustration of the profound depths of what he was giving. We think we're doing so much, going through so much. I can't stand it anymore. He tells us, don't worry, because he knows this is only dreaming. We are really safe and sound at his feet. When you are Baba's, he takes over totally, if we only have that trust. When Peter grew worse, and it was obviously only a matter of time, Mehera, who loved the Cocker Spaniel as much as Mani did, asked Baba why Peter's suffering should be so prolonged. A day or two later, Baba instructed Mehera to sit by Peter and pray aloud. Yezdan, Parvardigar, Meher Baba. See that Peter gets a human form in his next birth. The animal's suffering became intense, and the vet recommended that he be put to sleep. Goher, too, had much affection for Peter, so she did not want to be the one to do it. Alu was appointed. On 8 July, Peter was brought to Baba's bedroom, and Alu was summoned. She began crying over how much Peter must be suffering. She felt nervous and frightened, but she gave the injection in Baba's presence. Baba instructed that his handkerchief be spread over Peter's body. What a fortunate dog to have lived with God, Meheru remarked later, and to have breathed his last in Baba's presence. While Baba and the women had been in Pune in 1964, a portico had been constructed over the outer door to Baba's bedroom. This was a welcome addition for the men Mandalay, who had to change shifts in the night, sometimes in the rain. It was inconvenient and a mess to enter Baba's room if they were wet or carrying a raincoat or umbrella. Now a hook was placed outside, under the portico, for their wet things. Although it was now monsoon season, the skies remained clear. It is not raining, Mehera remarked to Baba one day. The trees and flowers have dried up. The farmers have plowed their fields. They are waiting for rain. When will it rain? Will it rain soon? It will be such a loss to them if it doesn't rain. These poor farmers are worried. They have no other source of livelihood. It's time for the rain. Baba said, Wait, it will rain. Have patience. We've been patient for so many days. Wait, have a little more patience. 2 days later, in the late afternoon, when Mani was reading to Baba, the women were with him when it started pouring rain. Baba, who was sitting on the edge of his bed, told Rano to open the door and pull aside the curtain so that he could look out. How lovely it's raining so much, he said. He told Mehera to look. Can you see how much it's raining? Mehera said, Yes, Baba, it's raining very hard. Aren't you happy now? Yes, I'm happy. After a pause, she asked, Baba, it's raining hard now, but once it stops, it won't rain again for a long time. Will it rain again after 15 days? That I don't know, Baba said with an innocent expression. What's going to happen after 15 days? I don't know. But it's raining now, isn't it? Be happy that it is raining now. You're happy, aren't you? Why are you worrying about what will or will not happen after 15 days? Baba was telling her to be happy in the present. In other words, not to think about the future. Though it wasn't right of me to ask, Mehera said. I wanted Baba to promise. Baba was very sweet, but very naughty also. Once, when it had rained quite hard for 20 minutes, the nearby Nalu stream bed resembled a river. They told Baba and asked whether he wanted to see it. He said that he did. He stood held Mehera's hand and came walking very slowly to the window to have a look. Mehera enjoyed the storm. I always loved to hear the clap of thunder, she said. Although Baba's health was poor, Mehera, for the most part, continued to be in good health. Mehera was never sick much, Goher reported. Baba was sick so often. He often caught a cold or flu. Mani also. But if Mehera fell ill, it was very hard on her, even a little fever. Baba always told me to take care of her, to see that she ate well, that she was given proper vitamins and other supplements. Mehera was a little careless about her health. She didn't have a good appetite. We had to see that she was given something appetizing. Meheru related, "We have seen the love Baba had for Mehera, which was unforgettable. If even the slightest thing happened to Mehera, or if she was not well, it bothered Baba much more than if he himself had been ill. Fortunately, Mehera seldom fell ill, but when she did, she never wanted to show it, so that Baba would not be worried or concerned. Once Mehera got a fever and a cold when she went out from Meherazad to Pune, but she recovered in a day. After Shariarji had cured her of malaria in Nasik, Mehera observed, she was never really ill. Baba himself would suggest precautions Mehera should take for her health. A few times, Mani requested Baba and Mehera to pose for a photograph. The previous year, she had taken one of Baba and Mehera in front of the Meherazad house. Mehera liked the photograph, but regretted that it did not show their feet. Baba himself, no, oh, I read that already. Mani took another of Baba with Mustan in the garden. Once Meheru took a photograph of Mehera and Mustan in the window of Mehera's bedroom facing the tree. For the photo, Mehera held up Mustan's ears so that he would look like an Alsatian. Mehera opined that Mustan would have looked better had his ears been up. I had to hold Mustan because he would not stand still for the picture, Mehera wrote to Beryl. This is exactly how he waits at the window, watching the squirrels play outside. When Mehera showed Baba the picture, he remarked that Mehera looked more beautiful than a movie star. One day, Mehera told him, Baba, there is no picture of you when you were young. Your hair is open and you're smiling, looking straight at the camera, so we can think that you are smiling at us. There is no picture like that. Baba looked surprised and asked, No. Mehera showed him one or two photographs of himself when he was young and said, This picture would have been so nice if you had smiled. We should have loved your photo when you were so young, with open hair and smiling. Mani said, I have one. I'll show you. She brought one, but it was completely different. Baba had his hair open, but he was older and not smiling. Baba said, It's very nice. To mollify Mehera, he added, You'll like it. Come and see how lovely it is. Mehera agreed that it was, although she was not completely satisfied. Baba had said it was so lovely, so I also had to say so. Baba touched that photo and gave it to me, so I kept it. Once, when Khorshid came, Baba asked her if she had any old photographs of him. She showed him two. one taken when he was in seclusion in the tomb crypt, and another in the boat in Toka. Baba took them and gave them to Mehera. In 1965, war broke out again between India and Pakistan. Their dispute over Kashmir, a Muslim majority territory, had also been the cause of a previous war in 1947-48. Mehera loved India and asked Baba why Pakistan had such a grudge against it. What has India done to her? She wanted to know. Baba gestured. India is spiritually rich, and so she suffers. At another time, Mehera asked, why should India have to suffer so much when four avatars were born here? Those being Ram, Krishna, Buddha, and Meher Baba. Spirituality in India has declined by almost 100% now, Baba explained. Today, it is not even 25% of what it once was. In September 1965, Baba canceled the Sahavas for his Western lovers, but each was allowed to write him one letter. Mani wrote in her family letter of 8 September that Baba said, the world situation is very bad and growing worse daily. The pressure of my universal work is affecting my health tremendously, and the pain in my neck is beyond limit. It is the universal cross that I bear. Despite the canceled Sahavas, Phyllis Ott longed to return to Meherazad with her husband Lynn. They traveled to India anyway and were permitted to meet the beloved on 4 October. After both had greeted Baba in the hall, Phyllis was sent to see Mehera. I felt jealous that Lynn was kept in the hall with Baba while I was sent out, she conceded. So, so that's Phyllis feeling jealous that Lynn was kept in the hall with Baba while she was sent out. Phyllis asked Mehera why there was a bed in the hall. Mehera said that it was used when Baba was working lying down or being adjusted or massaged there. After some time, the bell was rung for Phyllis to return to the hall. Baba was ringing the bell, Phyllis remembered. Mehera was talking, and I wasn't impatient because I'm very distractible. I'm like Mehera in a way. I can get into whatever is going on. Mehera was taking me around to see how they make chapatis. She was absorbing me. One of the other women said, Mehera, Baba's calling Phyllis. Then she and Mani took me to the back door of Mandalay Hall. I was about to take off my shoes. Keep your shoes on. Run to Baba, Mani said. Phyllis was momentarily incredulous. It was a secret in my heart to run like a child to Baba, she related, which Mani, of course, could not have known. Phyllis flew inside to Baba's parting embrace. One of the Mandalay remarked that Lynn and Phyllis's meeting with Baba was so joy-filled that it felt like a wedding. Afterwards in Bombay, when Arnavaz saw what gifts Baba had given them, she explained that Lynn's shawl was a Zoroastrian wedding shawl, the traditional gift of the bride's father. to the groom. So this is a good place for you to start reading, Mikal. It's kind of the top of the
Okay.
page. Yeah. I mean, you'll
Oh,
have to figure out what to
it was
read from.
wonderful how you read. Really, it was so magical.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
And this book is so amazing. Wow, wow.
Yeah, it's fun. It's got a sweet, point of view.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's so different. The outlook of the women on life with Baba and the quality and the difference of how Baba trained them and how he trained the men Mandali. So different. And
yeah.
how
So
he,
let's share this with everybody by reading the book to them. We are
yeah, okay.
recording.
So
Yeah.
I'll just read the note on the side. Within a year, Baba brought Lynn, because we're talking about Lynn and Phyllis going away. So within a year, Baba brought Lynn and Phyllis and their 4 children to Meher Spiritual Center, Myrtle Beach, where they would settle for life. A few Ahmed Nagar lovers, the Kalchuris, Kaikobad's family, and so on, were permitted to visit Mirazad on Dasera. Dasera is today, it's Diwali. Kokila Tiwari arrived in a fancy sari. Why have you come? Baba asked. For Dasera, she answered. Baba quipped. For Dasera, not for darshan, and all laughed. Mera wrote to Irene on 15 December. Arnavaz, Katie, and Khorshid will be here for 8 days during Christmas. We are growing vegetables this year more than flowers because we need the food. The rainfall has been insufficient and not regular. Instead of heavy rain in September and October, it's raining in December with cloudy, chilly weather and intermittent rain for the last 8 days. It's very unusual for rains in December in India, in that area. It's still very cold. This chill is not good for the pain in Baba's hip, nor the ever-present pain in the cervical region. On the whole, though, the hip pain is better. 2 days later, Mani also wrote to Irene with this added request. If you write to dear Mera, do not mention the family letter or my letter. Mera's 58th birthday was celebrated among themselves on the 23rd and Christmas 2 days later. Christmas was a festive time in Merazad. Mera garlanded at Merazad. Mera garlanded Jesus Come Again and kissed him on the cheek. Oh, Jesus Come Again, that means Baba. Mera garlanded, quote unquote, Jesus Come Again, and kissed him on the cheek. Flowered streamers hung over the front entrance, over Baba's room, Mera's room, and the dining room. Colored traditional chalk designs were sprinkled on the floor. That's Rangolis. On the gate, green mango leaves made an arch. And Mandari Hall was decorated as well. Baba's chair in the dining room was festooned with silk cushions and silk covering. Flowers adorned his photograph on the wall, and Rano even fashioned a small Christmas tree. One Christmas, Pia de Bude, sent tiny fairy candles, which were lit and placed around the dining room and living room. For breakfast, Naja made shevai or rava. Christmas cake was saved for the afternoon tea. Meru wrote a Christmas poem and recited it to Baba, and Christmas cards and telegrams were always read out. Baba looked at this one, Mehera exclaimed. Baba loved bright colors, Mehera said. He loved to see all the pretty cards and pictures. He was like a child, so happy to hear from his lovers and to see their love for him. After the cards were read out, Baba very beautifully, with so much feeling, gestured, I also love them. On 12 February 1966, Mehera wrote to Irene. The irony that now Baba did celebrate Christmas, but now they don't celebrate Christmas in Meherabad anymore than Meherabad. Gore, oh, I think it has to do with the government being very Hindi, maybe, and trying to stop things in Meherabad and Meherazad and make trouble. Gore always brings in my mail, along with her own. So this is a letter that Mehera wrote to Irene. Gore always brings in my mail along with her own. I opened the letter, and what a lovely surprise the kerchief was. Beloved Baba heard your letter with interest. I am glad to say that the pain in Baba's cervical region is better, as also is the pain in Baba's hip joint. But Baba looks very tired at times. You have to remember that's 2 years before he passed away. 3 years. On the third, Mansari visited, no, actually 2 years. On the third, Mansari visited us. She has to start very early and walks all the way from Ahmednagar. She walks all the way, wow. I took her around the garden and told her about the plants. You would be surprised how much Mansari's ways are changed. She likes to do gardening, but can't do much due to scarcity of water. Once or twice a year since 1961, Mansari and Jerbai and family visit us. I think Jerbai are Kaikobad's family. Baba has also seen the map you had sent. On the small map, you have marked where Baba stayed at Hedi's house. It was very interesting to see and also gave us the idea where Baba went. So Mansari, on the side note, Mansari would walk from Meherabad to Ahmednagar, 5 miles, at 5 a.m., catch a local bus to Pimpalgaon, and walk another few miles to Meherazad. After visiting for a few hours, she returned to Meherabad the same way. Quite a walk. Kaikobad's wife, Jerabai Dastur, that's who she wrote about, Jerabai Dastur, and their 3 daughters, Meru, Jalu, and Gulu, were living on Meherabad Hill with Mansari. One of the daughters, Meru, was badly burned while cooking, and on 27 February, she succumbed to her burns and passed away. The family was called to Meherazad, and Baba consoled them. Baba instructed Jalu and Gulu to listen and obey him, as well as Mera. It was the first time he had ever told them to obey Mera. Whatever Mera says, you must do, he ordered, preparing the Dastur girls for the future when he would no longer be physically present. All took it so bravely, Mani later wrote Irene. Baba said Meru was freed forever from the rounds of births and deaths and has come to him. Meru is the daughter that was burned. Meru is indeed blessed, and so is her family, who took it so well in the true Baba spirit. Kaikobad's high understanding is not surprising, but even dear Jerbai, that's the mother, took it so wonderfully that it made us humble and proud to see them practice what we often preach in words. Gulu was also very brave. Little Jalu broke down when she saw Baba. They were amazing ladies. They never went out of the hill. They were like musts. They were just amazing. It's a picture, right? Picture with a it's funny. Peter hamming it up in Satara. He has a clown's hat on his head, and he's standing on 2 feet. He was learning tricks from
Uh,
Maria.
he's so dear.
Yeah, you are a dog man.
Well, yeah, Ooh,
Yeah, he's Peter. the story.
wow.
Yeah, and the story is that he sleeps at Baba's feet and he starts doing all these movements, like someone is running after him and or he's chasing someone or running away from someone, and he calls money in, and he says, look at Peter, and Peter is moving his legs during his sleep, and he gives this how do you say this comparison, like us. We think that we are living in our dream life, but actually we are at Baba's feet, sleeping and safe. We are running away from the fear and the danger in our life, in our dream illusory world. Well, actually, we are at Baba's feet, sleeping safely. Here, safe and sound. Peter's safe and sound at Baba's feet. Yeah, it's very beautiful that Baba let him in when he was sitting with it. Mm. Oh, show, it's Baoji. Show the photo above.
Yeah, let's go on, please, for reading. Yeah.
So this is Merazad, 1959 and 60. No, show the text.
Want to read some more, or are you tired?
No, it's okay, unless you want to close.
Oh, go ahead.
How to please the beloved. Chapter 142. Yeah.
Yep.
A Muslim driver named Sheikh, who Baba liked, had been living at Merazad since 1959. But he left his position in 1966 to spend more time with his wife and children in Pune. Another driver was hired. On Friday, 1st April 1966, Adi Sr. drove Baba and the women to Guru Prasad in the Blue de Soto, as he did most every summer. Baba had not left Merazat for 9 months. Adi was instructed to drive very slowly, but Baba still found the journey uncomfortable and tiresome. Adi Sr. returned to Pune in July to drive them back. Visitors were not allowed to Guru Prasad that year, and Baba did his work in seclusion without leaving the premises. One soul, however, who continued to have unrestricted access was Pegu, the cat, who again took up residence in Guru Prasad as soon as Baba arrived. Seeing Baba's loving interest in the animal, as it scampered into his bedroom each morning and rubbed its head on his feet, Mehera decided to film this endearing scene. It turned out to be quite an endeavor. Baba was seated on the bed, but he was uncomfortable. A cushion was placed on the floor for his feet. Mani prepared everything, and Sheila Kalchuri, who was staying at Guru Prasad, she is Bauchi's daughter, who was staying at Guru Prasad and was especially fond of cats, released Pegu. But when Mani switched on Behram's floodlight, the cat stopped playing and stared at the light as it was something new. Never mind, Baba said. Try again tomorrow. Put it away now. And the women left, disappointed. The same thing happened the next few days. They tried repeatedly to take a few shots of Baba and the cat without having much success. On the side it says, The cushion was removed from the film so the cat would play. We had patience and went on doing it until the cat got used to the light, Mehera said. Well, Baba had a lot of patience to go through that. Another day, when Mani filmed several scenes of Mehera and the other women with Pegu, the cat was cooperative, but the people gave Mani fits. One said, "You didn't take it like this. Get some shots next to this lovely flowering bush." Koshet said, "You didn't take any with me standing next to Mehera." On it went. Exasperated Mani said, "There are 5 actors and 5 directors." For exercise, Baba paced the veranda that extended on 3 sides of Guru Prasad Palace. After dinner, Mani read to him. As a boy, Baba said that he had loved reading the adventures of the British detective Sexton Blake. In 1966, according to Baba's request, Adi Jr. sent several Sexton Blake books from England, and these were read to him. In those early days, Baba's first love was Sexton Blake, and on the side note, there was no veranda on the backside of Guru Prasad. So Mani said, then Edgar Wallace, and Rano and I had read a lot of Edgar Wallace books to him. Margaret, too, later, he loved the Narrow Wolf books so much that he had to read them again we had to read them again to him, each twice. I put the date on it, and after an interval of a year or so, they would be repeated. So on the side note, Ranu continued to read articles to Baba from Time magazine as well. Ironically, the cover story of the 8th April 1966 issue was, "Is God Dead?" Around 5:30 p.m., Mehera and the other women came out of Baba's room, and Bao went in for night watch. Several evenings, the women went to a film. Arnavaz and Katie have been with us for some days, Mehera wrote to Irene in June. We went to see some good films. One was on the life of the Grimm brothers, the wonderful world of the brothers Grimm. It was very much enjoyed. Grimm brothers are the ones who wrote all the fairy tales. Another evening, they saw the musical film Oklahoma. Mehera enjoyed watching the horses and seeing the lassoing. So they went to another Western, The Unthinkable Molly Brown, starring Debbie Reynolds. It was one of the best films we ever remembered, noted Mani. When the women saw the Walt Disney comedy, The Absent-Minded Professor, Mehera told Baba, "You must go, Baba. You will love it. It is so funny." Baba agreed and went with the Mandali, who were happy to be going to the movies. "Baba hardly got out in those days," said Mehera. By 5 p.m., Baba was ready. I walked him to the car. When he came back, he told us he had laughed and laughed, and that it was a very good picture. He laughed so much, he said, his cheeks were paining. How Baba loved that one. It was the last or the next to the last movie Baba ever saw. Arnavaz chose the films they saw in Pune. She had already seen most of them in Bombay and knew which ones Mehera would enjoy. "Look in the newspaper," Baba said to Arnavaz one morning over breakfast. "Is there any good film? A nice movie the girls would like?" Arnavaz put on her glasses and discussed the possibilities with Baba. That evening, the women went to a film. 2 days later, Baba suggested they see another one. At first, Mehera and the others were pleased to be going to a movie. But it went on for days, Mehera recalled. Practically every other day. We were not used to going out so much. and we got tired of it. We had to put on saris, go out in the car, come back late. I finally said, "Oh, Baba, another movie? I don't think we want to go." Baba said, "It is very good one. Go see it." We had to go, whether there were any good films or not, Mani added. But fortunately, most of them were good, Anna was observed. Baba always seemed to arrange it so there would be good movies playing in Pune during their stay. I like that. You know, the Avatar, he arranges that the movies will be good for his girls. That's so beautiful. Those they saw included The Trapp Family, a European film about the Von Trapp family. That's Sound of Music. This is the story of the Sound of Music of this family. And two comedies, those magnificent men in their flying machines, about a London to Paris air race. And it's a mad, mad, mad world with Spencer Tracy, Mickey Rooney, and Milton Berle. I saw this movie with my mother. She laughed so much. One Hindi film they saw was titled Milan. Lata Mangeshkar sang in the background of one scene of a shy girl in a rowboat with her paramour. What is a paramour?
Lover.
Oh, the song began, but it was too loud and incongruous to the scene. Mera described it to Baba.
Zoom recording. Okay. Go ahead, Deb.
Khorshid enjoyed going to the movies, no matter how often. She loved going out as long as it was with Mehra, said Meru, and she had all sorts of ways making sure she was included in the outing, which Baba, of course, which Baba would, of course, see through and tease her about, as would the other women. For example, one of Khorshid's duties during her 3 months at Guru Prasad was to share part of Bao's night watch, giving Bao time to attend to correspondence. Otherwise, Bao left Baba at midnight and began answering correspondence until 5 a.m. So Baba instructed Khorshid to take over from 6 to 8 p.m. This posed a problem for her because that was when Mehra and the others went to the movies. On the days when Mehra went to see a movie, Khorshid asked Bao to remain on night watch as Mehra wanted, and that's in quotes, her to accompany her to the movies. Khorshid told Bao that she would relieve him when she returned from the movies, but she never did. Mehra thought that Khorshid and Bao had exchanged timings and did not know that Khorshid was not doing night watch at all. In India, cinema tickets are sold in advance, and balcony seats, where the women always sat, are reserved. Whenever the women went to the movies, Oliva was sent the day before or the same morning to buy the tickets. If other women were accompanying them, Oliva was instructed to purchase or block out so many seats in front of Mehra and so many at the back, or else one entire row to prevent any outsider from coming in their row and stepping in front of Mehra to get to their seats. If there are men sitting behind them, whoever sat next to Mehra at the movies had to have her arm behind Mehra's seat, whether her arm got tired or not, in case someone brushed against Mehra from behind. Once Alaba went to the theater and the cashier marked X's on his paper to reserve not only their seats, but the seats around them as well, forming a zone of empty seats around them. Well, that was nice of him. At Guru Prasad, Alaba assured Baba that the tickets were arranged 100% satisfactorily, better than ever before, Alaba declared proudly. But when the women went to the theater, everything was a mess. 2 seats here, 3 there. Goher and Arnavas fought with the manager to find seats together. When they came back, Baba asked how the movie was. Fine, Baba. And how were the seats? No good. Oliver was summoned for a dressing down. It turned out that the one who had X'd the seats had become ill and was replaced by a man who did not know extra seats had been blocked. Whenever the women went to a movie, their new driver stood far to the side before Mehera came out. If Sheila were there, she was to check that the driver had turned up the rear view mirror so he would not inadvertently glance at Mehera. While driving, he was to use the outside mirror only. Sheila was to escort Mehera in and out of the car. Mehera entered quickly and held up a scarf as she got in to cover her face. Then the driver walked backwards to the car, careful not to look in Mehera's direction. When Mehera and the other women were at the movies, Goher and Sheila stayed at Gurbasad to look after Baba's needs. Before leaving, Mehera issued precise instructions. Remember, Goher, tie a bib around Baba when he eats. She was particular that that Dal did not stain his sadra. When you wipe Baba's lips, be very gentle. Don't do it in a hurry. And when you wipe his fingers, do so very gently also. It will be too bad for you if you hurt Baba. Though Goher had been staying with Baba for 20 years and knew perfectly well what to do, Mehera invariably repeated such reminders before leaving. Sheila too listened attentively, as she knew she would be attending to Baba while Goher went about her work. For 14-year-old Sheila, those evenings alone with Baba at Kurasad were a dream come true. She had longed to stay with Baba always and do his personal work, like Mehera. Each morning, she observed minutely how Mehera washed Baba's hands and combed his hair. Mehera explained to her how careful she was not to let the comb and brush scratch Baba's scalp. I do it so gently, she said. Mehera also stated that she kept her own nails short so they would not scratch Baba when she washed his hands. Sheila already had Baba's orders to clip her nails short. So when Mehera went to the movies, Sheila had the opportunity to wash Baba's hands after he ate dinner. Baba was such a messy eater, Sheila related. Rice and dal were everywhere. Gently, Sheila rubbed each finger clean, careful not to hurt him. She took Baba's plate and spoon to wash, as this was what Mehera did. Mehera had told her not to put Baba's plate on the ground to wash it, or to let it touch the ground. The other dirty dishes were placed on the ground, and servants squatted to clean them under an outdoor tap. Well, it's just my opinion, but I think Baba probably was being messy, so he gave Sheila the opportunity of washing his hands more thoroughly.
No, Baba was messy always, and that's why Mehera was so particular with him. He was messy also in washing himself, you
Yeah.
know. So, yeah.
Well, maybe he did that so he gave many people the opportunity.
Yeah, he gave many people the opportunity.
Yeah. Baba had the habit of calling the Mandali often, even after giving them instructions to complete some work, and he did this with Goher during his dinner. Many times the person would feel exasperated at being interrupted. After the fourth or so interruption, irritation would creep into their voice. But Baba would remind them, "You are talking with God." This happened with each of the Mandali except for Mehera, who always spoke politely with Baba. Whenever Mehera was called, no matter what she was doing, she replied sweetly, "Yes, Baba?" Baba too never scolded Mehera and spoke lovingly with her always. I don't know when I was supposed to read this. Side note.
Probably a little later because it has a marking, an asterisk.
Yeah, I don't see it. Okay. Um, this happened. Okay, yeah. For example, one evening at the dinner table at Guru Prasad, Mehra picked up a bowl of liquid curry to serve Baba and dropped it accidentally in front of him. It splashed over the table, and some even splattered on him. Mehra was so embarrassed and nervous. Baba looked up at her and said gently, "It's all right, Mehra." She ran for a cloth to wipe his face. Mehra was like the wind, literally, Sheila recalled. She moved so fast to bring something for Baba. The others would say, "Be careful, Mehra, you might bump into something." But she never did. "Baba needs a napkin," and off she would go at a gallop. That's why she liked horses. Others noted that Mehra sometimes moved like Baba, taking broad, swift strides. Margaret observed that Mehra had a certain grace in all her movements, and even as she aged, Mehra maintained that grace and moved like a younger woman. When Mehra returned, she began mopping up the table, but Baba told her to sit down, and he told Meru to do it. Naturally, Mehra felt terrible that the bowl had slipped from her hands, but Baba again told her not to worry about it. Meru explained, "Mehra was more disturbed by the incident than anyone else, as it had happened to Baba. Mehra, in her childlike way, felt disturbed by her own hasty nature. She wanted so much to help and be perfect for Baba, in every way worthy of him. I remember also how sweetly she would tell Baba how she would have liked to have had a beautiful voice to sing for him. Baba would look at her with such depth in his eyes and tell her he loved her exactly the way she was. And this meant so much to Mehra. By the way, one singer I know said that Mehra had a beautiful alto voice. One day, Mehra asked Baba something to which he answered yes, although Mani knew what Mehra had asked was not so. When Mani was alone with Baba, a bit rankled, she said, "Tomorrow, Baba, if Mehra says, 'The world is square, isn't it?' I suppose you'll agree and say, 'Yes, Mehra, you are right,' just to please her." Baba looked at her very seriously and answered, "Yes, I will." Khorshid too said
That
that.
is beautiful. And there's a side note you skipped.
Okay.
I love that he said that. You know?
Sheila, whenever Mara left the table to get something for Baba, she would walk backwards out of the dining room so that her gaze never left him.
Hmm?
The same was true for someone if someone was speaking to her. She wouldn't turn her head to listen, but always kept her eyes on Baba. Wow.
Wow.
It's overdoing it. One
Mhm.
one of the female Mondali back in Europe, it was in Europe. She did that. She kept her eyes on Baba as she stepped out of the was stepping out of the room. She stepped in a big pot of hot cauliflower. Remember that?
Oh, yeah. Is that Irene Billow or something? She had made a nice.
No, I think it was one of the Indian female Mandalay.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
But
remember that.
who
Yeah.
yeah,
were
but Turkey said,
overdoing the Baba revering. Yeah.
but here she says she's not even taking her eyes off when someone is talking to her. She's listening but not looking at them. She's looking at Baba. Can you imagine? You're talking her to her from the side, and she's not looking at you. She's looking at Baba, not taking her eyes off him. She was so amazing, so very amazing.
Yeah. She was.
Though at
Um,
times, I remember Baba saying from this book, Baba would say, "Stop staring at me,"
Yeah,
Yeah.
to people,
But I bet he didn't do that with her, huh?
no, with her never. No, with her never. I like this thing that Manny said, she got angry. She said, because they were arguing about something. And so she brought the argument to Baba, and Baba said, yes, what Mara is saying is true. And then Mara
Okay,
went,
let's go on, please.
oh, I thought you were
We
not.
just read that. We just
Oh,
read
I
it.
thought
We
you were
all
not, when you're not
pay,
putting it on.
pay attention, Mikal. We just read that.
I thought you were not recording.
Oh, hmm. I'll tell you.
All right, let's see. Korsha too said that in later years, Baba agreed with whatever Mehra said, whether or not Mehra was right. But later, Mani realized that Baba's reply was indicative of something far greater than merely keeping Mehra happy. She came to understand how Baba behaved with Mehra is how all of them should behave with him. They should accept his pleasure always. Mani elaborated, Baba had taken the role of the lover, as it were, so that we could see how we should please him. Baba would agree to something Mehra would say to show us how we should act with him. It might at the time aggravate a listener, but then I would realize that Baba, by calling Mehra his beloved, by his love for her, gave us a glimpse that made us realize how we should love him, our beloved. He alone can love perfectly. We saw this when we watched these instances of Baba's love for Mehra, the patience he would have, the little ways Baba would go, to any length, to please Mehra, especially in the later years. I personally learnt a lot. This is still Mani speaking. Baba's love for Mehra, I would almost say, was that of a devoted parent to a child. To please the child, he would agree with her. Yet Mehra is Baba's beloved. That love is not the usual love that the world understands. It is not that, but it is so beautiful. So only the perfect one can show us the perfect way. He showed us that. When he called Mehra the beloved, it was a lesson to us, a demonstration to us of how we should want to treat, of how we should want to please the one whom we call our beloved. Jai Baba. And then the next chapter.
Do you have this nice picture in your
Yeah,
copy? Yeah.
it's a good photo.
Who is that, Mrs. Kalchuri?
Yes, Rama
Rama.
And that's Sheila on the lower.
and Marinus.
Hmm.
And
He had
who?
only two children.
And Bauji.
Yeah, Bauji, that's his children.
Hmm.
They were born. They were concept. They were conceived before Bauji came to Baba.
Hmm.
When he
Hmm.
came to Baba, she was already pregnant with Memas.
Very cute.
Yeah.
Mehernath Rama. I guess Rama is Mrs. Kalchuri.
Yes.
And Sheila. Yeah.
I
No.
don't know much about Rama.
Well, she came to Baba after a while. At the
Hmm.
beginning, she was with her family. After she allowed Bauji to go to Baba, and she came to the darshans.
Oh,
And
excuse
Baba,
me. Excuse me.
oh, you, I'm
Let's go
sorry.
on. Yeah. I'll read for a little bit.
I'm sorry. I
For
thought you put us off the tape again.
Yeah. Chapter 143. A Life is Saved. The women Mandali wore slacks and dresses at Guru Prasad. But if they were going out, they dressed in saris and wore lipstick, a skin tone, not red. The mini skirt was popular at the time, but Mehera abhorred it. The mini skirt was a very ugly fashion, she once commented. I don't know how people wore it. Baba didn't like people to wear that kind of clothes. It was much too bare. Baba liked pretty clothes, pretty colors. In later years, Baba never liked us to wear white, plain saris. Baba liked bright colors, any bright colors, especially on me. For example, Baba did not notice when others wore a pretty sari, but when I did, he would remark how beautiful it was. You look well in it, he used to say. He would say nice things and make me feel happy. So much love he showed me, and that made me feel happy. The personal attention. Before leaving for the cinema, Baba called Mehera to his room to see how she looked. Your sari is very beautiful, he once remarked. I like it. And he embraced her. Said Mehera, in Guru Prasad, whenever I wore gorgeous Georgette saris with earrings and lipstick, Baba was so happy and appreciated it. Baba was interested in everything games, clothing. He went round the world. He loved people. And a side note said, once when it was very hot, Meheru rolled up her sleeves. Oh, okay, it's referring back to the mini skirt comments, I think. Baba told her to unroll them. She was not to wear sleeveless dresses also, whereas for Goher, sleeveless dresses were all right. Huh, go figure. Mani joked. Baba takes interest in everything when he comes because it is new to him, too. He hasn't come for 700 years. Not true. What's his name? Shivaji was more recent.
No, Shivaji was after, I think. Was before Baba.
Yeah, but it was Shivaji was like 1600s, right? 1700s. So that was only three, four hundred
Yeah,
years
yeah,
ago.
not 700 years, right.
Yeah. Katie always took pride in her appearance when going out, making sure she was wearing a fashionable sari, high heels, and makeup. She worked at the Japanese consulate in Bombay, but when permitted, she came to Guru Prasad on weekends. She took a train on Saturdays after work and returned Sunday night. At Guru Prasad, Katie narrated all the funny things that had transpired at her office, especially about her inability to understand the Japanese consul's accent. Once, on her way to Pune, Katie was carrying a basket of apples for Baba and the women. When she stepped off the train, one of her high heels became caught. The basket fell out of her arms, and the apples scattered across the platform. Katie scrambled after them and later recounted the incident to Baba in a humorous way, acting out the scene. Mehera found the story particularly amusing considering how conscious Katie was about her appearance. That will teach you not to wear those high heel shoes, Mehera chided. Those shoes are dangerous.
They are.
I I had an acupuncture uh, uh, man who said women should not wear high heels with the exception of you could wear them to bed. Katie ignored the warning and wore the shoes whenever they went to a movie. As they entered the theater, Mehera told her, don't think we'll help you if you slip and fall in those high heels.
That's so funny.
The story of Katie's mishap with the apples would be told and retold at the dining table by Mehera whenever any guest came for lunch. Mehera enjoyed it so much she could not quit laughing. Baba too enjoyed it. Everyone would stop eating and laugh. Whenever this story of the apples comes up, Baba observed, Our lunch lasts till 2 p.m. Sheila was staying in Guru Prasad with her mother and brother, ostensibly because she had an infected mastoid, which required surgery. The operation had been performed as soon as they arrived in mid-May 1966, and Sheila recuperated at Guru Prasad. Before the operation, Baba made a startling pronouncement. He stated that Sheila would die. I am giving 101% assurance that baby won't survive, he said. He began discussing in a serious tone arrangements for the disposal of her body.
Jeez.
We will bring your body here to Guru Prasad and keep it in the hall. I will arrange to send it back to Meherabad with someone. To Mehera, he said, order a garland. What happened to that new chadar sheet someone gave us? We will use it to cover her coffin. Take the sheet off my bed to wrap her body. How fortunate she will be that I myself will garland her body and wrap it in my own bed sheet. To Sheila, you don't feel afraid to die? To come to me? Sheila said, no, not even 1%? No. How brave she is.
Can you read the side note?
This was the same surgery that Mani required in Mysore, and that proved fatal for Mehera's father.
It proved fatal
So,
for me too.
infected mastoid.
Yeah, it was hard for Mani too. She almost died.
How brave she is. Sheila had witnessed how Baba had come to Meherabad to drop flowers over Gulmai's coffin, and she knew that he had not come again for Meru Dastur. When Baba had not even come to see Meheru buried, someone who had spent so many years in his contact, how much more fortunate would she be if Baba himself garlanded her body and covered it in his own chadar? Do you have any last wish? Baba asked her. Any last request? Again, Sheila said no. Baba told her that since she could not eat before going for the operation, when she ate with them the night before, I will serve you your last food. It will be your last prasad. Finish everything on your plate. Sheila's mother, Rama, saw that Baba was serious and began weeping loudly into her hands. Up until this point, Mehera had not protested about anything that Baba had said. Now she held Baba and said, no, Baba, you must do something. You can't take Rama's only daughter from her. Save Sheila. Baba told Rama, you don't realize how fortunate baby will be, and you also. People will say, Baba garlanded Rama's daughter, not Bauji's daughter, because she stays with you. People will always remember this. Baby is happy to come to me. I never saw any child like this. But his words had no effect, and Rama wailed louder. Mehera begged Baba to change his mind. Baba looked a bit sad and finally said, since Mehera is saying it, then 99% baby will survive, and 1% she will go. Mehera was not satisfied. No, Baba, do anything but promise Sheila will live. And Baba had to promise her. Mehera said, it is partly your fault, Baba. Why do you give mothers so much love for their children? Destroy Rama's attachment, and she would not mind if Sheila comes to you. Baba agreed. Yes, you're right. But I have to give mothers that sort of love. Otherwise, who would raise the children with so much sacrifice and devotion? Baba then told Mehera to bring a Baba locket, and Baba himself pinned it to Sheila's blouse and ordered her not to remove it during the operation. It will protect and save you, he said. It will be me who is performing your operation. The operation was successful, and Sheila returned to Guru Prasad after a few days. Since she could not open her jaw, Gohar gave her a tiny toothbrush. You can also massage your gums with your finger, Mehera suggested. Baba gestured. Mehera's telling you this because she does this, putting his finger in his mouth, every evening. Baba, it is good for your gums, isn't it? Yes, but I lost all my teeth, op- opening his mouth to show them. I, I want to eat good things, but I have difficulty chewing. Still, I eat like this, showing Sheila how he chomps his gums. Baba's words about the loss of his teeth made Mehera feel so sorry for him that she went near his chair and held his head to herself with an expression of the tenderest love. Mehera often held Baba like he was a small child, Sheila observed. If Baba was standing, Mehera held him from the side with her arms around his waist. If he was seated, she cradled his head to her chest with so much love. At the dining table, many times during the meal, Baba reached over and caressed Mehera's cheeks and chin with one hand. He often spoke of her. Mehera loves me so much, she repeated time and again, and I love her also. Since she said Sheila, when Baba would say something sweet, hearing his words, Mehera could not contain herself, and many times she left her plate, stood up, and embraced Baba as he was eating. She would wrap her arms around him from behind, careful not to touch him with her hands as she had been eating. When Sheila felt a bit better, Baba himself told Mehera to give Sheila some of his torn sadras to stitch in the afternoons when she was alone. Mehera was most particular about Baba's things, but Baba assured her that Sheila would do it properly. Although Sheila had never done much sewing, she promised she would do it carefully. Mehera gave her a torn sadra but warned, I am very strict about how I want you to fix it. No loose threads should be left there. She gave Sheila a large white sheet to place on her lap. Baba's sadra should not touch your body. If you have to sneeze or cough, turn your head away. She started to give Sheila a white kerchief to tie over her mouth and nose, but Baba said, It's not necessary, Mehera. She understands what you mean, and she doesn't have any nose problem. Baba saved her. Otherwise, with no fan in the summer, Sheila thought she would have suffocated with her mouth and nose tied. Sheila repaired the sadra well, and Mehera was pleased and gave her others to sew. Initially, Mehera had been willing to let Sheila repair some of Baba's things because Mehera was displeased with Meheru. A loose thread had fallen to the ground. Oh my God, what a tragedy. A loose thread had fallen to the ground in the dining room while Meheru was sewing something of Baba's. Anything of Baba's was never to touch the unclean floor. Oh my goodness. Sheila sat outside on the divan as she did not want the same thing to happen to her. Use this needle and thread, Mehera instructed. Don't use it for your own things. Use another one. This is only for Baba's things. If one of your buttons comes off, come and ask me for another needle, and I will give you one. Most of the Sadras had tears around the neck and under the arms. Baba had given many of his torn Sadras to Bao to use. Sheila knew this and once asked Mehera, "Why bother to fix all these torn Sadras when Baba gives them away?" Mehera said, "When you stitch them out of love, he will use them. The more love you put into your work, the longer Baba will use it." When the women returned to Ahmednagar, Sheila remained in Pune for some days as she had doctor's appointments. Mehera wrote her a note in which she said, "Baba is using the sadras you fixed. He remembers you, and he reminds me every day of what a good job you did. Baby is fortunate to have done this for me," Baba said. "She fixed them so nicely. I feel to use them longer." So, finishing here on page 360 for today. We'll pick up on 361 next week.